Do you hate spiders? That's what the trailer has. Of course we do. Use a flamethrower, throw bombs at them. If there's one in your house, burn it down. Of course, I'm just kidding, and in a moment I'm going to give you some groovy facts about Eight-Legged Freaks! Released in 2002 by Warner Brothers, it's a B-movie monster feature about a colony of spiders that is exposed to toxic waste. But we all know what happens when you're exposed to toxic waste. That's right, you develop superpowers or you grow gigantically huge. I'm gonna throw some of that toxic shit down my pants. Right, let's get stuck in. Groovy. Number 1, it started out as a short. Director of Eight-Legged Freaks, Ellery LKM from New Zealand, produced, wrote and directed short movie Larger Than Life in 1998. Larger Than Life is a 13-minute homage to those B-movie sci-fi toxic expose creature features from the 50s, which would usually involve some creature growing into a gigantic beast and terrorising a town or city. Films such as Tarantula from 1955, The Deadly Mantis from 1957, and Them 1954, which is possibly the greatest movie you'll ever see about giant ants. Larger Than Life is about a woman who has to fight for her life as her home is sieged by a host of giant spiders exposed to toxic waste, because anything exposed to toxic waste in the 50s would always mutate and grow large. Thankfully, the toxic waste nowadays is much safer to drink. The plot of Eight-Legged Freaks is almost identical to Larger Than Life. It was an idea that would fester in Ellery LKM's mind, till he finally made his full-length version in 2002. The short did the rounds at movie festivals and was highly praised. This was LKM's calling card. You can watch this movie on the web. Number 2, Devlin and Emmerich. Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich are two major eye-concept delivering producers, writers and directors. They are responsible for movies such as White House Destroying Independence Day, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla from 1998, Stargate, The Day After Tomorrow, and so many more. They were discussing their love of B-movie monster movies one day, no doubt wondering what famous landmarks they would have the creatures destroy, and decided they wanted to make a movie of this ilk, but they weren't sure what or how the creature would come to be, until a fellow producer, Pete Winter, sent them a copy of the Larger Than Life short movie, created by Ellery LKM. They loved it, and they knew they wanted to make a film about giant spiders, and Ellery LKM was the guy they wanted to make it. Number 3. LKM, Devlin and Emmerich are all scared of spiders. Everybody has fears, like a fear of heights, the fear of confined spaces, fear of the dark, and fear of Prince Andrew. But one of the most common fears is arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. Now I know it's irrational, and they're just a bit creepy and very tiny, just like when I was a kid, but irrationality makes you fear the strangest things. It's mad that producers Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich and director Ellery LKM all fear spiders, yet they were going to be working on a movie set with them. Maybe that's why there are so many CGI ones in the movie, so they don't have to actually be there. Ellery LKM said it's the 8 legs running incredibly fast and creepy that freak him out. Dean Devlin is a firm believer in the theory we evolved from apes, and apes are petrified of spiders, so it's in our natural genetic. Roland Emmerich can't stand them, which was unfortunate, as one time he was staying at a hotel in Mexico next to a jungle. He was putting his pants on one morning when he felt something bristly in the leg and pushed it out, only to scream when he saw a huge tarantula drop out of his pants onto the floor and run off. A guy I once knew told me about one night when he was laying in bed early hours in the morning. He couldn't sleep, and his wife was right next to him, fast asleep, snoring her head off with her mouth wide open, when all of a sudden a spider crawled across the sheet and crawled into her mouth. Probably deafened by the snoring, it quickly ran out of her mouth. He didn't wake her or tell her, and to this day she has no idea that a spider was ever inside her mouth. Number 4. ARAC Attack. The movie was originally called ARAC Attack, which is said in the actual movie. But as the movie was being shot, the horrific 9/11 terrorist attack in 2001 in New York happened and shook the world. By this point, 8-Legged Freaks had been reported by many media outlets as ARAC Attack. But after this event, Warner Brothers decided it was too close to ARAC Attack and didn't want any connotations or confusion linked to the September 11th attacks. They decided to change it to 8-Legged Freaks after hearing star David Arquette scream it aloud during an ad-lib on set.
You 8-legged freaks!
So star David Arquette is responsible for the new title. It was still released as ARAC Attack in some European countries such as Italy, Germany and Spain. Number 5. Location. The film is set in the mining town of Prosperity, Arizona, USA. Prosperity is actually a fictional town, but the film was genuinely filmed in Arizona. Maybe it should be renamed ARAC Zona. The scenes set in the mall were filmed in Glendale, Arizona, in the Manistee Town Center Mall, which had been closed for about a year and was due to be demolished. It was permitted to be demolished for the scene where the mall is blown up in the movie. The creepy mines where the spiders go to put their feet up was filmed in a disused copper mine in the town Superior. The town has also been used as a filming location for sci-fi and horror related movies such as the Angels Fighting Evil Beings movie, The Prophecy, and Alien Invasion movie, Alien Invasion, Arizona. Number 6. The John Ottman Score. John Ottman has been an extremely busy chap throughout his long and varied career. He's composed soundtracks for the X-Men movies, Orphan, Superman Returns, House of Wax, Halloween H20. I could go on, but I won't because I'll be here all day otherwise. When he got asked to compose a soundtrack to 8-Legged Freaks, he took it under the name ARAC Attack and thought it was going to be an Iraq war movie. He got a shock when he saw giant spiders leaping at the screen. He decided to create a suspenseful, quirky soundtrack with the vibe of Fantasy Island and Cable Guy spinning through his mind. John Ottman actually scored another movie called Trapped whilst working on 8-Legged Freaks. Trapped was composed in around 2 weeks, but the giant spider movie took around 4 months because it took so long to add in all the effects, so Ottman would wait for the movie footage so we could get an idea what composition he was aiming for. Subscribe if you want to see more movie trivia videos. If you don't, you'll wake up in a bed of spiders. Number 7. Scooby Spiders. We all love Scooby-Doo. Feel free to check out my Scooby-Doo video if you haven't already, but back to 8-Legged Freaks. The tone of the movie I think was aiming for a Gremlins vibe. The movie perfectly combines dark humour, suspense with mysterious cackling creatures, so the spiders were also given voices as they got bigger. That toxic waste they drank is some crazy shit. Imagine if you walked into your house one day and saw a spider on the wall and it turned on it. Alright mate, my feet are killing me, I've been walking on the wall all day. You'd shit your pants, wouldn't you? The guy voicing the spiders was none other than Frank Welker, who has voiced Megatron and Soundwave in the Transformers cartoons. Curious George, remember? Apes are scared of spiders. Lots of Smurf characters. I can hear the younger generation shouting, who the bloody hell are the Smurfs? Frank Welker is most famous though for voicing Scooby-Doo. I wonder if some of these spiders like getting all whacked up on Scooby snacks. Number 8. Special Effects. It's no surprise if I tell you that around 98% of the movie effects were digital effects. The budget of the movie was a very small $30 million and only $10 million of it was spent on the special effects, which is incredible because I think special effects company CFX, who've worked on movies Independence Day, The Patriot, the 1998 Godzilla and Scorpion King, the less said about that one the better, CFX would work closely with the director and place green markers in various areas of the location. They would also guide the director on how to direct an object or person who would have to react as though the giant spiders were attacking them, with the actors fighting fresh air before the CGI effects would be added months later. There were also some spider puppets that were used, as well as synthetic model spiders which were placed on the set when shooting, and stuck-in actors weren't so lucky though, as they also had real spiders brought on set. A spider wrangler wrangled around 20 tarantulas, who would then perch them on their terrarium until they were ready to pounce on actors. If I were acting in the film, I think they'd have to CGI me into the movie instead of acting with the actual tarantulas. Number 9. Sci-fi and horror actors. You're here because you like sci-fi and horror movies, because you're groovy. The cast is notably associated with this genre, which for a B-movie old style horror sci-fi is great news. Star of the movie David Arquette was cast on the popularity of his role in the Scream franchise. He also starred in Bone Tomahawk, the Creepshow TV series, and TV horror The Cottage. Kerry Wurra is definitely no stranger to the genre, for she has appeared in 2 Prophecy movies, Prophecy Forsaken and Prophecy Uprising. She has also appeared in The Itcher 2, Hellraiser Deader, Stargate Atlantis and more. Leon Rippey, who played Wade, has appeared in Stephen King adaptations 11/22/63 and Under the Dome. He's also been to the 13th Floor and Stargate 2. Deputy Pete Willis was played by Rick Overton, who has also dabbled in the genre. He played Felix in TV show Grimm. He's been in the vampire show True Blood, Cloverfield and the excellent David Made a Maze, which I can highly recommend. One of the biggest stars of Eight-Legged Freaks is of course Scarlett Johansson, who will go on to star in sci-fi drama Under the Skin and play extremely popular tight pant wearing Marvel character Black Widow in the long running Marvel Studios franchise. Playing a character called Black Widow, just like the spider it was meant to be. What did the baby spider say it wanted to be when it grew up? A web designer. Number 10. The cancelled sequel. In 2002 it was announced a sequel was in the works. The first movie left it open for a sequel, and producer Dean Devlin was in talks with director Hilary Elkim to return to directing duties. David Arquette can't get enough of this overgrown spider shit because he agreed to come back. Sadly, the sequel never materialised, and I doubt it ever will, because the first film just about made a profit, but wasn't an 8-legged runaway success, so the studios probably had second thoughts and decided not to funnel web any money into the sequel. Number 11. Not a resounding success. Shot on a relatively small budget of $30 million, which is small for a movie about giant spiders that needed a lot of effects work, Warner Brothers were hoping for a huge cash banking success. It did make a profit of around $15 million, but the projections were higher. LD studio execs have got to pay for cover-ups and gangsters to get rid of the dead hookers they have sprawled about. That costs money. Even though it's profitable, it's still considered a bit of a flop, and no doubt why there was no sequels or spin-offs. Spin-offs? Get it? It's a shame it didn't do so well, as it's a fun movie. Not perfect, but it has a lot of fun with the premise. During the summer what was building up to the release of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, it had a bit of a mountain to climb. David Arquette also believes people are so scared of spiders that when they saw the incredibly creepy effects in the trailer, it put them off going. If you're an arachnophobic, I could actually understand this logic, and if you're not an arachnophobic, then you're probably thinking what's the point in going to see the film, because it's not going to scare you. I can't stand spiders, but I still went to the cinema to watch it, because I wanted the sensation of feeling scared. Why do you think it didn't perform so well? Number 12. The different species of spiders. The movie has several different species of spiders. Here are the species of creepy buggers that appear in the movie. Quick, somebody get a flamethrower. There is a garden spider, which as the name suggests, lives in your garden. They tend to stay in that one area for the remainder of their lives. They inject their prey with venom, then cocoon them in a web to eat later. A bit like a crunchy sausage roll. There is the tarantula, which the main used spider nicknamed Tank is. They like to burrow and live in the ground. They can eat large prey like bats and birds. And of course, if they're a giant tarantula, they will eat humans. They are the spawns of Satan's ass. The wandering Brazilian spiders are just that. They like a good wander. They make ideal Uber drivers. They've also been nicknamed banana spiders, which tells you all you need to know, for there have been many instances where people have bought bananas from their local supermarket, only to get home and find a wandering Brazilian spider crawling out and probably eating people alive. Buy your bananas loose like I do. The funnel web spider likes to live under rocks. They can bloody stay there. Their bites can be lethal. They're considered one of the most dangerous spiders in the world. They can actually benefit science though. In 2021, researchers in Queensland, Australia, found the poison from funnel web spiders could actually block cells from dying after a heart attack, thus being beneficial for heart attack victims, although seeing one of these would actually give me a heart attack. Here is the black widow spider. They don't like to stay married. Only the bites of the female spiders can cause injuries to humans. Wait, are the male species also called black widows? They must be a bit confused. Orb weavers, which sounds like something that should be in a Harry Potter book, are found in gardens and fields. The male spiders try to creep around so they can mate with the female orb weaver, but around 80% of them are cannibalised by the female after sex. All male spiders are cannibalised after their second shag. If you're a male spider, you're much safer being a gay spider, it would seem. The trapdoor spider traps its prey by building a webby trapdoor and waiting underneath for its prey to walk over, then BAM! They are now dinner. Now last but not least, the jumping spider does exactly what it says on the tin. Jumping spiders can be found in a variety of places. They've even been found on Mount Everest. So another reason why I won't be climbing Mount Everest in my lifetime. Jumping spiders can actually jump several times their body length. I'd rather face off against Freddy Krueger. Right, that's enough of me being a shitty David Attenborough. We caught two spiders who have just got married. Newlyweds. Number 13. The 3D video game.
Try running with only 7 legs.
In the 8-legged run-up to the film's release, Warner Bros. Released a 3D website game, emphasis on website. The game is set in the mall, where you can play as the David Arquette character Chris, or the gun-toting sheriff Samantha, played by Kerry Warher. In the movie, every week the player with the highest score would win a prize. What was it? Cash, clothing, a car? Nope, it was a chainsaw, a pitchfork, or a weed whacker, which sounds like something I do in the privacy of my own house. These items would actually be signed by the cast. The game was also released as a PC game. Well, did you enjoy those facts about 8-legged freaks? I hope so. And if you want to check out some of my other videos that don't have spiders in, feel free to do so. I've got some jokes coming up during the end credits, so if you want to watch them, stick around. So, from this 2-legged freak, I'll catch you soon. What's that noise? I walked into the house before, and a spider slapped me across the face and called me a dick. There's a nasty bug going around. What do spiders eat in Paris? French flies. Why did the spider buy a car? So he could take it for a spin.